Others are trying to move towards more renewable energy, but it's expensive to go kind of cold turkey. I mean, how long would you give these universities to get off coal by 100%?
Sure. Well, we're working to make sure each campaign is localized to understand what the situation of each different university is. But we are calling for all universities to be off coal by 2015. Some major universities have actually just taken major steps. Cornell actually just announced this past Friday that it's going to be completely off coal by next year, which is a pretty exciting first step. While it is an economic situation that we all have to look at pretty carefully, we actually can't afford to not get off of coal as soon as possible.
So what do the students actually do on campus to promote the Beyond Coal campaign? What are the activities that you like to see the students do?
Sure. We're doing a bunch of really exciting and fun things this semester. Right now we're working on our petition drive, collecting hundreds of signatures on our petition to call for MSU to be completely coal-free. And in a mere week and a half, we've gathered over 450 signatures, which is really exciting. We're also going to be working throughout semester to get more coalition partners, including with faculty. We've had a bunch of faculty express their support and officially endorse the campaign, and many more also allow class presentations, as I was just mentioning. We plan on working with a bunch of different constituencies, other student groups, and alumni, as well as local community members to really call for a broad effort to help call on MSU.
You know, on the MSU campus, it's no secret that the new recycling center was largely a student-driven initiative. How passionate are the students, are you finding, across the country and here in Michigan about this Beyond Coal campaign?
It's been amazing just to see the number of hours and the amount of dedication that students are really willing to put in above and beyond classwork and jobs and other extracurricular activities. Students are donating a lot of time to really make sure that we see this happen. It's a really important issue, arguably one of the most important of this generation. And so the fight against coal and making sure we can build a clean energy economy that helps the environment, that helps public health, and that helps build a really strong economy right here in Michigan, something students are really invested in creating.
We're talking about the Michigan State University Beyond Coal campaign with Monica Embrey, who's a Sierra Club organizer based right in East Lansing. Monica, we've talked to a lot of people on this show from the major power companies, and we get the sense that everybody is on board with clean energy. It's just a question of how much, how fast. And they often point to the expense of turning these things around quickly. I mean, is the Sierra Club sensitive to the economic realities of turning things around? I mean, this is a large ocean liner that you're trying to turn around in the middle of the ocean.
Sure. I would say the urgency is so important that while we are willing to definitely look into the factors and figure out what the best timeline and plan is for a university, we have to get off coal as soon as we possibly can. Leading NASA scientist James Hansen came out with a report not too long ago that said, if this country doesn't help shut down all 500 coal plants that are currently in operation across the United States, we'll have no way of avoiding some of the worst causes of global warming. And the deadline he gave for that is 20 years from now, 2030. So universities can take a great stand in leading the way, in leading the nation and the world, and helping take major steps to shut down their coal plants, which will be a huge incentive to help other communities as well.
Well, among our guests on this show, we've had President Simon and Mary Sue Coleman, who are both committed to clean energy. It's just, again, back to the question of how expensive, how quickly can they turn that vote around. The recent decision by the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality to approve an air permit for a coal-powered plant up in the Bay City area, I know there are some conditions to that, and they have to take some other plants out of coal-producing operation. But probably a major disappointment from your perspective.
Yeah, well, the Beyond Coal campaign has many different components, and one of the first components was actually addressing all of the different coal permits to produce new plants. And the campaign's been running for a few years and has effectively helped stop over 108 of those permits, I believe as of last week. And so we're working to really try and make sure all of those new coal plants don't come online, because that obviously means they're up and running for 40 or more years.
One thing I like to ask all of our guests, as you look at alternative energy and the portfolio of potential products and actual products, I mean, what do you see looking 2015? If ideal world for Monica, what kind of alternative energy portfolio do you envision?
Sure. Well, MSU's already taken a great stand in incorporating biomass into its facility. Definitely increasing those numbers to a sustainable amount would be really wonderful to see. And then also figuring out how to incorporate wind and solar energy from around the state of Michigan would be a really great incentive. Obviously, the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine, so using biomass as well as potentially natural gas as a transitionary fuel during that time would be acceptable.
So natural gas is an acceptable transition.
Mm-hmm.
Anything other than coal?
Basically, right now, coal is the #1 cause of so many different issues. If we can make a major stand to get off that, that would be a huge help for our environment.
Now, are there other campuses in Michigan besides Michigan State where the Beyond Coal campaign is being mobilized?
Not actively right now. We're definitely starting to build connections with students across the state as well, but no official campaigns have been launched. No.
But you're starting with B-Spartan green students, right?
That's exactly right.
Monica, people who are interested in the Beyond Coal campaign, both here at MSU and nationally, where can they get that information?
Sure. We have a website, which is msubeyondcoal.wordpress.com, or they can also contact me at monica@greencore.org.
Okay. Monica, one final question, and it's kind of a tough one, but it's a question that a lot of my listeners would be asking. This new coal plant that's going to be built, apparently, up in Bay County, it's going to provide 18,000 jobs in a state that is really depressed, as you well know. I mean, what do you say to the people who would say, you know, the economic development factor and the fact that they promised to burn cleaner coal mitigate some of the issues that you're talking about? What would you say to those people who are wondering about that?
No, I definitely understand that issue. The reality is, when we put money and funding and resources into creating clean energy jobs, they last longer and actually produce more, dollar for dollar. So when you compare it to wind, I've seen averages between 8 to 10 times more job produced for longer. The coal industry is cutting actually back on jobs, and this one plant might right here be creating some more, but nationally across the country it's actually cutting jobs and they're not lasting nearly as long. The reality is, clean energy is the future for this country and the world. And until we really start investing in it and creating an infrastructure and communities where we can use that, temporary jobs are not going to be permanent fixes for communities.
Well, there are a lot of people who agree with you that to be on the right side of history now, I mean, clean energy is the way to go. We've had many, many guests from the private sector, public sector, all agree with that. It's really a question of how soon we can get there and how much is it going to cost.
Definitely, which is why we've kind of launched this campaign to provide a lot of support and show how many students and people across the country and right here at Michigan State are really calling for that to happen now.
Well, Monica, good luck with the MSU Beyond Coal campaign, and it's been a pleasure having you on Greening in the Great Lakes.
Great, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Good deal.